Well, we're going to be nice to Cowboys fans because next we're going to go to the Eagles. Of course, we just pissed off a bunch of Philadelphia fans.
Well, in the Horsemen fan poll, they did take 45%.
The Eagles did, or the Cowboys?
The Eagles did. 45% of the Horsemen fan poll voters voted that the Eagles will win the NFC East this year. So they're close, almost percent. But I'm right there with them. I got the Eagles. I got the Eagles winning the division this year.
Okay, I thought you had. I'm sorry, I thought you had them at second place. Jeff, you had them at second place, right?
Yes, sir.
I do too. I want to start that off with. I really wasn't sure, so I'm really kind of in the middle because I think the Eagles could flip this really quick, and they could get their stuff back together. That they've had the right stuff. They've kind of floundered a little bit, but I think Peterson's a good coach, and I think if they come out and not necessarily firing on all cylinders in the beginning, but if they can hold it together and put it together, they could win this division very easily. Really, the notes that when I was looking them over and researching that, though, I actually wrote down that they could be division champs or they could be a disaster, and they could really go either way, depending on the circumstances. So I don't want to be down on the Eagles at all. I just don't. Dallas looks really strong from where I'm sitting, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you're saying is how I'm thinking. They're just so up in the air because a lot of their success depends on Carson Wentz, and is he going to be able to stay healthy and stay in? Which is probably why they went ahead and drafted Jalen Hurts. And if Wentz does stay healthy, then maybe they find a way. Doug Peterson's creative enough that maybe he can find a way to get him into a Taysom Hill type role for the Eagles, which could be huge. Miles Sanders had an okay first year. He's talking about coming out and setting the league on fire next year, so hopefully he can do that. They still have Alshon Jeffrey there. They have Deshaun Jackson, who can obviously run past anybody. Jalen Rager, who I don't know much about, but he's kind of the same kind of mold that Deshaun Jackson is. Really fast kind of guy, can spread the field. And Zach Ertz still easily top five, probably top three tight end in the league, and one of the best offensive lines in the league. They brought in Marquise Goodwin, which I'm surprised the 49ers let him go. He should be another burner for him. And, there wasn't a whole lot of roster or coaching turnover for the Eagles. So from a big change kind of standpoint, they're not one of those teams that is going to have to get reacclimated with each other. For the most part, they all know each other already. They're just a couple guys that got to come in and get going. But they brought in a guy in Darius Slay on the defensive side, and that's going to be huge for them because the front seven for the Eagles has been solid for the last 5 years. They just had a couple question marks over their secondary. Bring in Darius Slay in; he's a top 5 corner in my opinion, and so that'll be huge for the rest of the defense. They can stop worrying about that side of the field, basically. I got them projected at 8-8 and missing the playoffs. But even in my notes, I said that my projection may be too low. It's really, like I said, all dependent on what's Carson Wentz going to do. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? If Carson Wentz stays healthy, I think he's got as much talent as any other quarterback in the league. He's able to be mobile and throw on the run. So he's an electric player to watch, and I hope he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, I think they have more of a 11-5 kind of record, but judged on what he's been thus far and what they are without him, I have them at 8-8 right now.
And Zach, you had them. Zach, you had them at 11-5 and sweeping the division, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep. 11-5, 6-0 in the division. I think Carson Wentz is going to stay healthy. They're returning 6 Pro Bowlers, including 3 offensive linemen. So I think as long as he doesn't make a stupid mistake, try to run it up the field and get killed by 3 people, I think he'll stay healthy. They added weapons. They're not all the other teams in the division have new coaches. They're all trying to find themselves, their identity and stuff. But the Eagles already have it set in stone. So that's why I think they're gonna do take the division this year, run at 6-0, just completely dominate it.
Wow. And I think Jeff and I can both agree with you to the point that um, as as I was talking about the Giants just a minute ago, and I said if they squeeze out, if they're able to eke out an 8-8 season, they're going to take a playoff spot that someone else could use. Um, I think if the Eagles are 8-8, it's a completely different story. I think the Eagles are 8-8. They're if they make it to that point, they would have the ability to take a playoff spot and make a good run. I don't know that they're a Super Bowl contender, but the bottom line is, even before we get to the Cowboys, this division very easily could put two teams in the playoffs. And I think we all agree on that. Zach, I know you do, but even Zach, even with you and the Cowboys, you agree that the Cowboys could, and the Eagles, even if the Eagles win the division, the Cowboys could end up in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys can. Do I have them in the playoffs? No, they're the Cowboys.
Well, sometimes they make it; they just leave early.
Yeah, true. Very true.